today we're talking to Godwin, who hates bitter melon but loves chocolate mint ice cream. He wishes he was from Denmark. His childhood nickname was Doctor, and he was once a reluctant lifeguard. He once climbed a mountain with no railings, and today he's going to talk to us about Kosovo. Welcome, Godwin.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Great. So welcome, Godwin. The timer is starting. So tell us how you ended up going to Kosovo.
Great. So for me, this is an experience, I think, like now for 2014. So it's about 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, 6 years ago. My math is all wrong. But in any case, I was doing this because I stumbled upon basically this great opportunity actually for a, it was like a school club, nonprofit kind of thing. It was called Global Youth Volunteer Network, actually. So this is the kind of organization. I think I stumbled upon their booth, and when I was doing there's a clubs fair when I was starting in undergraduate studies. I went to university, right? So this is my first year, and so we were basically there were a few different trips basically. So there was that year it was Kosovo, it was Thailand, and then it was man, I forgot the third one already, but it was Kosovo, Thailand, and somewhere else, right? But in any case, it was, I chose Kosovo actually because the trip was a little bit more educational based. So we're helping out a local NGO. It's called Balkans Sunflowers actually, and so they're there really to help the Roma, Ashkali, and Egyptian minority groups, help the children, right, to supplement their education and for raising awareness for their condition inside Kosovo as well. Because a lot of the children actually end up dropping out of school at a fairly early age, right? To help work for the family, which is fun, And so, in any case, it was a fundraising effort as well. So I had to fundraise about $3,700 actually for my trip, as well as an interesting aspect. Fundraising isn't my favorite thing in the world to do. Actually, it's like I like to call it professional begging.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
It's helpful. It's helpful for raising awareness, though, for people, for friends and family. They're like, "Oh, you're going on this trip. This is pretty cool." And Kosovo, up until that point, I was like, I never heard of this place before, right? So
right.
And it was a completely new place for me at that time. I haven't been in Europe before, so that was my first welcome to Europe. It's like basically the place right in the middle of the Balkans, right? So in any case, this was in May of 2014 we set out. It was a group of 8 students actually from my school, McMaster University here in Canada, and so it was great. 1 month long trip, had lots of great formative experiences. Helped out at one of the learning centers during the day, and then during the weekends, a lot of just exploring, right? Which is cool. Definitely a new place, and basically what happened in terms of the mountain incidents. So basically, this was the first weekend of our stay there, actually. So, it was actually Europe Day, and so it was a holiday basically. So I had the chance to go to great scenic area of Kosovo. It was called, I think, the Marusha Waterfalls, and so it was like it was literally just climbing up mountains, and I remember it was pretty not easy getting up. Let's just put it that way. And of course there were no railings, so we were basically hugging trying to hug for our lives, and cross these cliff areas. Basically, one wrong step and you're gone.
When you say there's no railings, how far is it? Do you have a platform of 6 feet? I mean, how wide is it?
It was just enough room for me to be forward facing and walk. Or just enough room for that. It was
I'd
great.
be out because I have a fear of heights, so there's no way. So I had to know.
Pretty high up. I mean, the waterfalls are beautiful.
I had to know whether I was am I afraid while you're talking or not? I'm afraid.
Oh, no.
Keep talking.
But it's fairly high up for people who are afraid of heights. It's a bit up there. But in any case, what happened was so I ended up breaking my arm on the way. Right. I did break my right arm actually. So my right humerus,
Oh my
And so what
gosh.
ended up happening, actually, I didn't fall off, obviously, I'm here still, but what ended up happening was we made it to the top. We got, took all the pictures and got to the waterfalls, and it was great. As we were coming back down, down back to ground level, it was, that was when I tripped on something. It was a rock or a tree root or something, so I ended up like tripping, and forward momentum was coming like this way.
Right.
So most of my body weight went on my right arm. So what happened afterwards was obviously it was I ended up causing quite a scene actually that day. There were a lot of unintentionally, right? There was a lot of people, people out on holiday, and so not a lot of people in Kosovo look like me.
Okay.
Right? A lot of other Albanians or Serbians, right? So not a lot of people. And so I ended up causing quite a scene, and then ended up going to what they call the American hospital. And so it's basically the only place where they had a doctor that spoke English, basically. That's basically what it meant, right?
Right.
And so I eventually got a cast there, and well, I'm right-handed, right? So I had to learn how to do everything with my left hand.
Oh no,
The rest of the 3 weeks, and then had to get at least 6. Coming back to Canada, it was at least 6 more weeks of physiotherapy, and before I could take my cast. I mean, after getting my cast off, which was like another 4 to 6 weeks as well. So it was like most of my summer, my right arm was kind of useless. So overall, that was a really interesting experience for me.
I can only imagine. So did you make friends, people that you're still friends with and talk to over there while you were there?
Yeah, I'm connected still with a few people on Facebook. I did pick up a bit of Albanian and Serbian while I was there, so a little bit. Just very basic stuff. But yeah, definitely still connected with a few people, and we kind of see updates from time to time. So they seem to be doing quite well. So.
Oh, wonderful. So what surprised you most about the experience of going to the country or the whole thing? I mean, never having traveled to that part of the world before.
Yeah, great question. I think just most surprising, honestly, is just cultural differences. Honestly, it was so different from what I'm used to, right? So just in general, just the culture.
That's
so
our
shocking,
timer.
Right?
I really wanted to hear your answer, so I was like, "Oh, don't go off yet."
I know, I was too. I'm like, "Oh no, we're left with questions."
Yeah.
So, well, let you expand on that. When you say cultural differences, what was one of the biggest differences that kind of stands out in your mind, just so we can share with that?
Sure. I think in general, one of the things that was really interesting, it was 6 years ago, so I have to recall a little bit, but I think in general, it was, I mean, things were generally similar, but I think what was different was definitely just how people have adapted to terrain. Because obviously I live in a place where it's pretty flat, actually.
Right.
It's like there's not a lot of mountainous areas, but over there in Kosovo, there's a ton of mountains, and even the capital city, Pristina, was a place where it's very hilly. Like, you go up and down. And I've never had such a workout just walking down the street. Because it was everything, like all different manners of elevation, right? And so that was really, that was really interesting. Oh, the other thing also is that is the presence of just a lot. People still smoke right everywhere. So that's the other thing. Even inside restaurants, that was something that I still wasn't that used to. And I'm still not, right?
Right.
Meantime, it's a cultural thing, so I totally understand it. But at the same time, I almost felt like I was suffocating while eating something.
Right. I mean, that's the way it is in different countries. Some countries are not. I mean, smoking is everywhere, and so you encounter that, or whatever whatever it is. So. That's very cool. Thanks for sharing. I love the story of clinging to the rock in the mountain as you climbed up there. And I'm so sorry that you had to break your arm, but I'm sure that made it a different experience.
It was actually I did appreciate the experience, actually, and in retrospect, these types of things only happen in retrospect. And when at the time it happened, I was like, thank goodness I purchased travel insurance, right? So
Oh,
medical
yeah.
insurance, you know, that this type of thing would come in handy, right? So
Right.
you didn't have to do anything out of pocket necessarily, right? So, but yeah, it was just such an interesting. I mean, for me, like I had to literally learn everything. I mean, I learned that how I write with my left hand, it looks like a 5-year-old's writing. Right?
Oh.
I don't remember. It's like trying to form the words again. It was like learning how to write all over again, right? That's
Right.
So eating with my left hand isn't as bad,
Right.
but yeah, definitely writing,
Yeah.
showering with one hand is different.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that. Say that as well, and to protect the cast from getting wet. That's another whole different kind of experience. So
Whole other thing.
trying to do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Godwin, for sharing your story. And I love the idea that it was an opportunity that presented itself through school, so that, you know, from an education standpoint, and that you met other individuals then most likely in your age group and really
around there. Yeah, that's right.
You know, impacted you that way. So click below if you'd like to subscribe to hear more of these travel stories and travel with us through real stories from real people. Thank you.
Thanks,
I hope I'm
Godwin.
real, yeah.
You are. Thanks so much.
No worries, take care.